Good morning, viewers, and welcome to the second episode of season 2 of Your Money, Your Taxes. I'm Paresh Shah, CEO of Paresh Shah Financial Services, and here with me in the studio today is Lalit Abichandani, CPA of Avic CPA Associate. Lalit is a practicing CPA with 25 years experience in US. He specializes in US taxation. He has been running a very successful CPA firm in New York. He and his firm provide tax services and tax planning for businesses as well as individuals. In addition to the regular trading businesses, his firm services healthcare industry, IT industry, hospitality and entertainment industry. He has done hundreds of offshore voluntary disclosure and streamlined procedure cases and has become an expert in foreign bank account reporting and US-India tax treaty. He's a CPA and advisor to businesses, professionals, Bollywood industry, and a lot of film personality. His website is yourtaxadvisor.com. Welcome, Lalitji.
Thank you very much for a great introduction, Paresh.
Lalitji, last time when in the last episode of our first season, we were talking about taxation for people, for US citizens who are residing abroad. And there's a lot of confusion between US citizens and green card holders, etc. So I think where we left off everything was about green card holders. And if you could repeat what green card holders need to do in terms of taxation for their, if they're not residing in the US, I think that's a great place to start, and just give us a summary of that and then we'll go ahead.
Paresh, you're right. The major question is, when they are green card holders or citizens and they don't live here, they say, we don't live here, why do we have to report the taxes, or why do we have to pay the taxes? But as a green card holder and citizen, no matter where you reside, whether you are a resident in US or not, you are required to report your worldwide income no matter where you have lived. But this reporting is required every year as long as your total income has exceeded the minimum filing requirement. Of course, as we discussed last time, there are credits that you can take. So there are foreign tax credits, there is foreign earned income tax credits that you can take to minimize your taxes. But the reporting is to be done. So there is no getting away from reporting every year, which is where people fail to understand that and fail to accept that fact. In addition to that, they are in addition to getting the foreign tax credits, they will get the credit for the normal credits that are allowed to residents. So the requirement of filing is there, not necessarily paying the taxes after the taxes. So it gets a little complicated. That's why I suggest my clients that to hire a professional who can do a best job and minimize your taxes while filing these tax returns, especially for people who are not living here in US.
Thank you, Lalitji, for refreshing the points. Let me paraphrase what you just said. That means that if you're living overseas and you're making income overseas, then when you file your US taxes, you get credit for the taxes paid in that country. But now specifically coming to the Indian context, let's say you have US income, you paid some US taxes, but you're currently residing in India and you have to file the tax return there because the income is earned in that country. What happens? Do they give credit for the taxes you pay in the US?
So Pareshji, the same rule applies in India, for example. I don't know about other countries, but at least in India. So when you are a resident of India with a green card or a citizen, you still have to file taxes in India for the income that you have earned in India as well as for the income that you have earned in US. Now the taxes that you have paid in US, you will get a credit there as well. We have a lot of businesses and Bollywood personalities who come here and they do their shows and they earn that income here. Of course, they are to be taxed on that income in US first. But whatever taxes they have paid, we give them the certificate so that they can go and take the tax credit in their respective country, in this case, India. So yes, that reciprocal credit is available, and there is a US-India tax treaty known as Double Tax Avoidance Agreement. under which you are not really paying double taxes, whether that's reporting in US or reporting in India. But this has to be done very carefully so that you take all the credits that you are entitled to. So my recommendation is file every year. If you're living in India, file there as well, especially if you have income in India, so that you are compliant with both the countries.
That's great, Lalitji. You know, now these people are residing in the foreign country, so they have earnings in the country. Probably mostly they'll have bank accounts also there, and they also probably sometimes they might have their entire life savings in that other country. You know, so do they require to do the foreign bank account reporting that we talked about?
Pareshji, again the same rule applies even though you live in India. But you are a US green card holder or a citizen, so by default you are a resident of US. And if you have accounts in India, you are living in India and you have accounts in India and you are a green card holder or a citizen, you still have to file the foreign bank account reporting. You still have to do that, which is a separate filing, by the way, Pareshji. It is not the same as income tax. And in addition to that, if your threshold, if your total value of your accounts is more than 100,000, there is an additional requirement of FATCA form 8938 that has to be filed, listing all your bank accounts and how much income you have earned. So this year there is an additional requirement that the taxpayer should be aware of and follow the rules accordingly.
Thank you, Lalitji. But you know, coming to an area where you're quite the expert, and you know, everyone seeks out your judgment, which is in declaring foreign bank accounts. So, because there are so many complex laws, I'm finding that there are people who are green card holders and they do not know that they're supposed to report this foreign bank account because they're not US citizens and currently they're not residing in the US, though they are green card holders. So my question to you is that tell us about, are there any amnesty schemes for these people, you know?
Yes, Pareshji, you are absolutely right. So far people were ignorant about it. They had no idea that they had to report it. But starting last year, the banks in India have started reporting these NRI or NRO accounts to US government, and the banks have started educating their depositors as well. So there is more awareness this time, but the problem still lies for the previous non-compliance, not filing of previous years. And this amnesty that is available to residents is also available to non-residents who are living there, but they are green card holders or citizens. They can avail of, they can come forward in this amnesty. In certain cases, if they are totally not living in US, they can even avoid the normal 5% penalty that the residents have to pay. So I would say, I would encourage them to come forward and even apply for that. There is nothing to lose. You will be totally compliant. Of course, like I said, the banks have started reporting to IRS. So IRS knows about these bank accounts, and pretty soon they will start sending out notices to those people who have not been filing this foreign bank accounting reporting requirements.
Okay, but you know, there is nowadays the world has become small, and not only are we seeing people move cross-border for work, you also see people investing in cross-border investments. So let's say somebody is a partner in a foreign business. What happens in that case? How is it reportable? How is it taxable?
Pareshji, again, it's a bigger requirement, more than even foreign bank accounting. Now you are either a shareholder in a company in India, or you are a partner in a partnership in India, or in some cases I have seen that there are family partnerships where by default you just because you are part of the family, you have either inherited that percentage share in the company, or maybe the family has just allocated you, the parents have allocated you certain share in the ongoing businesses that there are. Now the US government requires you to file form 5471, which is reporting them that you own a certain percentage of either a partnership firm or a share company that you have started, where you have shareholding and you have investments in there. You also have to report how much income, your allocated income there is. So yes, and not filing this 5471 again is subject to $10,000 penalty. So be aware of this rule. It's very important. And again, ever since FATCA started in 2010, the compliance has quadrupled. They have really put a lot of investigators in this area to start looking into the ownership of US ownership into other countries. So my recommendation would be to come forward and file this 5471. If you have not done for the previous year, come forward and go through the streamlined procedure, or OVDP. If you don't qualify for streamlined procedure, the other amnesty that's available is OVDP. So that's Offshore Voluntary Disclosure Program.
Well, that's great, Lalitji. I mean, great information. But you know what? I think that we need to look at foreign businesses owned by US citizens or US green card holders or residents here as an entire episode, because there is so much details about how to report, what is obtained, what are the structures overseas, etc. I think viewers will benefit from that, Lalitji. So
this form is a very complicated form, the form 5471 that I have said, and of course a two-part form, 5471 and 5472, and it's a very complicated. It's not something that average person can do. It requires a lot of reading, lot of knowledge of the tax laws. So I would request viewers to hire a professional who has experience in this area and sit down and understand what the requirement is so that the compliance can be done.
Yeah, because I mean, what I'm just from what you're hearing, I mean, the entities can be so different on the other side, the way they are taxed there, the way they are reported there, versus how we carry the reporting into our country, and our US taxation could be completely different.
The tax rules here are totally different than the tax rules in other countries, India in particular.
Yeah. So let's go on to the next part, which is gifts. What are the rules about giving gifts or gift taxes, etc.? We had a few episodes ago, just to remind viewers, that where Lalitji had gone over gifts and excise taxes in an entire episode, and so we know what happens in the US. What about these foreign gifts or people who are residing abroad? What about gifts for them?
So Pareshji, this again is a very frequently asked questions, receiving gifts as well as giving gifts. Now, once you are a green card holder or a citizen, no matter where you live, you are subject to US rules. So I will cover the US rules for the green card holders and citizens. So when you give gifts, you are allowed to give $14,000 per year per person without having to report that. And as you know, there is a lifetime exemption for each person. That exemption for the year 2016 and 17 is $5.3 million. So that's your lifetime, but every year you can give $14,000 per person without having to report anywhere to US government. If you are giving out more than $14,000 to one individual, then you are required to report in the correct form. Not reporting again is subject to $10,000 penalty. Then again, there is for non-residents as well, there is a requirement where the money that you are receiving from non-residents have to be reported to US government. So this is a very complicated area. I would request viewers to look into that. If you have any questions, I'm there to answer all the questions, or send us an email. We'll be happy to correspond with you and give you the details so that this is clarified and you file the taxes accordingly.
Lalitji, I mean, I know that most CPAs whom I speak with, or at least quite a few, don't touch some of these incomes reported overseas, etc. Do you take up those cases?
Oh, absolutely. A good percentage of our clientele is people living abroad, people having businesses abroad, and people who, especially like I said, Bollywood actors who come here for their shows and performances. We take care of their tax filings for the income that they are earning. Some of the Bollywood actors are now coming in and taking endorsements for the product, so they are making money on that. Also, business people are traveling and making money in this country. So the tax file, we have a good percentage of clients that we take care of it, and they are living in India.
Well, thank you, Lalitji. This is great information. Viewers, as you can understand that this is a complex area of the law. If you're living overseas or if you have someone living overseas who's a US citizen or a green card holder, please get them to a professional. Lalit ji is absolutely awesome in this area. Please connect with him on his email lalitcp@yourtaxadvisor.com, or look at his website yourtaxadvisor.com, and you can call him at his office. Thank you, Lalit ji, for this great information. Viewers, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you very much, Paresh ji, for all the questions. If anybody has any questions, please give us a call. Thank you.
Thank you.